My heart was pounding, my palms were sweaty, and I was trapped, stuck in a metal box on wheels, watching the minutes tick away on my phone, knowing with absolute certainty that I was going to be late. Again. It was in that moment of pure, frustrating helplessness, surrounded by the silent, equally stressed faces of strangers, that I had a revelation about the very thing we all share but rarely master: transportation. Welcome to Fluency Forward, the podcast where we unlock English through the stories of our daily lives. I'm your host, Cindy, and with me is my co-host, Bob. If you've ever been late, lost, or just plain tired of your daily commute, you are in the right place. This journey is for you.
And what a journey it's going to be, Cindy. Hello to all our listeners out there navigating their way through the world and the English language. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here with us for this deep dive. Strap in, because we're about to explore every turn, every stop, and every single word you need to talk about how you move through your world.
We truly are, Bob, and to our incredible audience, if you find this journey valuable, please do us a huge favor and subscribe to our podcast. Wherever you're listening, hit that follow button. It truly makes a world of difference, helping us reach more amazing learners like you.
It really does. Your support is the fuel that keeps this show moving. Today, we're devoting our entire session to the universal topic of transportation. How do you get to your workplace? How do you travel to your school or university? We are going to cover all of that and so much more, providing you with the language, the confidence, and the tips to express it all.
So Bob, let's start this engine. How are you feeling today? You know, Cindy, I'm feeling wonderfully present. Thank you for asking. There's a certain energy that comes from connecting with our audience. And how about you? How was your day unfolding?
I'm truly excellent, Bob. I had a weekend that was just what my soul needed. Absolutely serene and restorative. I spent it with my family, which always seems to recharge my batteries.
That sounds absolutely perfect. Family time is so precious. What kind of activities did you get up to together?
Well, on Saturday, we shared a massive home-cooked dinner, the kind with lots of laughter and passing dishes around the table. Then on Sunday, we decided to enjoy the simple pleasure of a long, meandering walk through the local park. It was so tranquil and peaceful.
A walk through the park. That does sound like an ideal way to unwind. My own weekend was on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, I'm afraid. Incredibly busy. I dedicated the better part of it to a single monumental task: cleaning my entire apartment from top to bottom.
Oh, cleaning. Let's be honest. It's a necessary part of life, but it's rarely described as a source of fun, is it?
No, it certainly is not fun, but I have to say the payoff is immense. Now my living space is spotless, organized, and it brings me a genuine sense of calm. There's a real satisfaction in that.
There really is. So, Bob, that actually leads me perfectly into our topic for today. How did you manage to get yourself to our recording studio?
Today was a public transportation day for me. I arrived here by taking the bus, specifically the one that runs on route number 25.
Kunvi, the bus. What was the atmosphere like this morning? Was it particularly crowded?
It was exceptionally busy, Cindy. It seemed like the entire city had decided to head to work at the exact same moment I did. In fact, the bus was so full that I had to remain standing for the first 10 minutes of the trip, holding onto a pole for stability.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Maintaining your balance on a moving bus without a seat is no simple feat. It requires real core strength.
It truly isn't easy, but my luck turned around. After about 10 minutes, a passenger near me reached their stop and vacated their seat. I was able to take it, and let me tell you, the remainder of the journey was significantly more comfortable. It was a vast improvement.
That's a definite win. My own journey here was quite different. I used my personal car today.
Interesting. How were the road conditions? Did you encounter much traffic congestion?
It wasn't the worst I've ever seen, but it certainly had its slow moments. The traffic flow became particularly heavy and sluggish as I got closer to the city center. There was a noticeable buildup of vehicles.
I always observe a high volume of cars in that central city area. It seems to be a constant. Is driving your usual mode of transport for your work commute?
No, it's not my standard routine. My typical day-to-day preference is actually to take the train. I find it to be a much more manageable experience.
What is it about the train that makes it your go-to choice over driving?
For me, it's all about the ease and the reclaimed time. When I'm on the train, I have the freedom to open a book and read, or simply organize my thoughts for the day. Driving, on the other hand, demands your constant attention and can be incredibly stressful, especially when you're surrounded by endless lanes of traffic.
I totally agree. And that's actually the same reason I have a fondness for the bus. When I'm on the bus, I can put on my headphones and lose myself in my favorite music, or I can just gaze out the window and watch the world go by. It becomes a pocket of peace.
Exactly. It transforms dead time into productive or relaxing time. So, would you say you use the bus as your primary method of travel every single day?
Almost without fail. There are exceptions, of course. For instance, when the weather is absolutely beautiful, clear skies, and a gentle breeze, I will opt to ride my bicycle instead.
I'm impressed. You ride a bicycle? That is a fantastic form of exercise. It's wonderful for your cardiovascular health.
It really is, and beyond the personal health benefits, it's also a mode of transport that has a positive impact on our environment. It produces zero emissions. I will admit, however, that my commitment wanes when the weather turns. I absolutely do not ride my bicycle when it is raining.
Of course not. Nobody enjoys arriving at their destination soaking wet and having to deal with a drenched bicycle. It rather defeats the purpose of a pleasant ride.
True indeed. Now, shifting gears a bit, how do you typically travel when you go visit your family? If I recall correctly, they live quite a distance away, don't they?
Yes, they are located quite far from here. For those longer visits, the train is my only practical choice. It involves a considerably long train journey,
How long are we talking?
approximately 2 hours one way.
2 hours. Now, that is a substantial amount of time to be on a train.
It is a long time, but I've learned to genuinely appreciate it. I spend the time looking out the window, watching the landscape transform from urban sprawl to countryside vistas. It's genuinely beautiful and calming. Sometimes, if I'm feeling a bit tired, I'll even allow myself to doze off for a short while.
That does sound incredibly pleasant. You've almost convinced me that I need to plan a long train trip for myself in the near future. There's a certain romance to rail travel that I think I've been missing.
You really should consider it. It's a different way to experience travel. Where would you be interested in going if you had the chance?
I think I would choose to go to the coast, to the beach. I have a deep and abiding love for the ocean, the sound of the waves, and the feel of the sand.
A wonderful choice. And how do you normally get to the beach when you go?
I almost always travel by car, and I make a point to go with a group of my close friends. It makes the entire experience so much more enjoyable and social.
Traveling with good company always amplifies the fun. It turns the journey itself into part of the adventure.
Absolutely. We talk, we share stories, we listen to music together. It creates a wonderful shared experience.
Let me guess. Do you and your friends sing along to the music in the car?
Without a doubt. We sing at the top of our lungs, and I must confess, we are spectacularly, wonderfully bad at it. But that's not the point. The point is the sheer, unadulterated fun of it. The trip to our usual beach spot takes about 3 hours.
3 hours of nonstop singing? That is a serious vocal marathon.
You have no idea. By the time we finally arrive and see the ocean, our voices are completely shot, hoarse from the effort and laughter. We can barely speak above a whisper.
I can only imagine. Now, let's pivot to a different mode of travel altogether. What are your thoughts on air travel, on airplanes?
Airplanes. That's a topic where my feelings are mixed.
What do you mean by mixed feelings?
It means I have both positive and negative opinions about it, existing at the same time. On the one hand, airplanes are incredibly fast and efficient. You can cross continents in a matter of hours. That's a massive positive. But on the other hand, airports can be enormous, confusing, and incredibly busy places. That aspect is a definite negative for me.
I can see both of those perspectives clearly. Personally, I have a fondness for flying. I adore the feeling of going to a new country, of exploring a culture completely different from my own.
And that is truly the best part of air travel, isn't it? The destination makes the journey worthwhile. I actually flew to Spain last year, for example.
Oh, that sounds amazing. How was your experience there?
It was nothing short of incredible. The local cuisine was a revelation, so flavorful and diverse, and the people we encountered were so warm, friendly, and welcoming.
That's wonderful to hear. So once you had landed in Spain and were in the cities, how did you get around to see everything?
I did a tremendous amount of walking. I am a firm believer that exploring a new city on foot is the absolute best way to truly see it, to discover its hidden gems and feel its unique rhythm. I also made frequent use of the city's subway system.
The subway. Was it a user-friendly system for a visitor?
Yes, it was remarkably easy to use. The maps were clearly designed and color-coded, making them simple to understand even if you don't speak the language. On one occasion, right after I landed, I also used a taxi to get from the airport directly to my hotel.
Was the taxi service expensive?
It was somewhat pricey, yes, but the circumstances justified it for me. My flight had arrived quite late in the evening, and I was feeling profoundly tired from the long journey. In that situation, the convenience and directness of a taxi were exactly what I needed.
That makes perfect sense. Sometimes the easiest option is also the best one, especially when you're fatigued. Your comfort and safety are priorities. Now, turning the question back to you, what would you say is your absolute favorite way to travel, Emma?
Hmm, that is a wonderfully difficult question. After giving it some serious thought, I believe I would have to say that trains hold the top spot for me.
What is it about trains that gives them the edge?
It's the sense of freedom and space. On a train, you're not confined to a single seat for the entire journey. You can get up, stretch your legs, walk to a dining car, and simply move around. You have large windows to watch the world unfold, and the ride is generally very smooth and comfortable. For me, it offers a level of comfort that I find superior to bus travel.
That's a very compelling argument. Buses can sometimes feel a bit cramped. The seats don't always have the same amount of legroom or padding, and the ride can be less smooth depending on the road conditions.
Precisely. And following that logic, my least favorite way to travel is very easy to identify: a crowded bus. I have a strong aversion to being on a bus or a subway car that is packed to capacity with people. There's no personal space, and it can feel quite claustrophobic.
And really, who actually enjoys that experience? It's universally unpleasant. For me, my least favorite is easily the motorcycle.
You don't like motorcycles?
Not at all. They feel far too exposed and dangerous for my personal comfort. I have a strong preference for vehicles that have four wheels. There's an inherent sense of stability and safety that comes with that.
I completely understand that perspective. Safety should always be the foremost concern when choosing how to travel. Speaking of different vehicles, have you ever had the experience of traveling by boat?
A boat? Do you mean like a large ferry?
Yes, exactly.
Actually, yes, I have. Last summer, I took a ferry to visit a small island off the coast. It was a delightful experience. Was it an enjoyable trip?
It was tremendously fun. The water was a stunning, deep shade of blue, and the sun was shining warmly from a clear sky. The entire voyage was just incredibly scenic and beautiful.
I have to admit, I'm feeling a little bit jealous hearing that. I have never been on a boat trip like that, and it sounds idyllic.
You should definitely try it someday. It's a wonderfully relaxing and serene way to travel, on most days.
What do you mean by on most days?
Well, sometimes the body of water isn't calm. The sea can be rough.
What does it mean for the water to not be calm?
It means the waves are large and powerful, causing the boat to rock and move up and down quite violently. It's a motion that some people really don't tolerate well. It can make them feel very unwell, even to the point of seasickness.
Oh, I understand now. That does not sound like a fun experience at all. In fact, it sounds quite miserable.
No, it certainly isn't pleasant. But I must emphasize, on a day when the sea is flat and calm, a boat trip is just about perfect. It's one of the most peaceful ways to travel.
Well, maybe I will start with a very short boat trip first, just to test the waters, so to speak. A quick excursion.
That is an excellent and very wise idea. It's always good to ease into new experiences. So let's take a moment to recap the sheer variety we've already covered. We've discussed cars, buses, trains, bicycles, airplanes, taxis, subways, and boats. That is an impressive list of transportation methods. Did we accidentally overlook any?
Hmm. What about smaller, personal options like a scooter or one of those modern electric bicycles?
Oh, yes, of course. I see more and more people using electric scooters in the city center every day. They have become extremely popular for short distance urban travel. Do you ever use one yourself?
No, I personally do not. While I acknowledge they are very quick for short trips, I find them to be a bit dangerous when mixed in with regular car traffic. I feel vulnerable on them.
I share that sentiment. For any short trip where I have the time, I will almost always choose to walk. It's a healthier habit. And best of all, it's completely free.
And free is always a good price, isn't it?
It certainly is. Now, let's talk about a universal struggle. What is your typical reaction or strategy when your chosen mode of transportation is unexpectedly late?
Oof, that's a great question. When I'm waiting for a bus and it's delayed, I can feel my stress levels begin to rise almost immediately. I find myself constantly checking the time on my watch or my phone over and over again, as if my staring at it will magically make the bus appear.
I do the exact same thing. It's a universal habit, I think. When my train is running behind schedule, the first thing I do is pull out my phone to call or text the person I'm meeting. I always say, "I'm so sorry, but my train has been delayed." It's a phrase I've used more times than I can count.
Yes, exactly. And thankfully, it's a situation that everyone seems to understand. It's a common part of modern life. It happens to absolutely everyone at some point.
It truly does. It's a shared human experience. Speaking of modern solutions, have you ever utilized a car sharing application?
A car sharing app. You mean an application on your phone that allows you to locate and temporarily use a car that's parked nearby?
Yes, that's exactly it. You use the app on your smartphone to find an available car in your immediate vicinity, and you can rent it for a short period, sometimes just for an hour or two.
No, I've never personally used one. Is the process relatively straightforward?
Yes, it's designed to be very user-friendly and intuitive. I use one occasionally, specifically when I need to make a large trip to the supermarket for my weekly grocery shopping. It's perfect for that.
Oh, that is a brilliant idea. For a big shopping trip, having a car at your disposal is incredibly useful. You don't have to worry about how you're going to carry all those heavy bags.
Precisely, you can load all your grocery bags into the trunk of the car without a second thought. Trying to carry a large amount of shopping bags onto a public bus is a completely different and much more difficult experience.
No, you certainly cannot manage many bags on a bus. One or two bags is the absolute maximum you can comfortably handle. Any more than that becomes a real struggle for you and an inconvenience for your fellow passengers.
Maximum, yes. So, for all our incredible listeners who are diligently learning with us today, let's take a moment to explicitly talk about the specific words and grammar we use when discussing transportation. This is the core of our lesson.
Okay, let's break it down. We commonly say, I come by car, or I take the bus. That's the foundation.
Right. We typically use the preposition by for many types of transportation. For example, we say by car, by train, or by plane. However, notice that we say I take the bus or I take a taxi. We never ever say I buy bus. That is a very frequent and understandable mistake for English learners.
Correct. That is an extremely common error, so don't worry if you've made it. The proper way is I go by bus or I take the bus. And for the simple act of walking, we use a different phrase. We say I go on foot.
Yes, you could say I come on foot. It sounds a little more formal than I walk, but it is perfectly correct and very good for you to know and recognize.
The English language can be a little funny and inconsistent sometimes, can't it?
Sometimes, I'd say often, but that's also what makes it interesting and fun to learn.
It often is, but you're right, it is fun. Now, let's get some active practice. How would I ask you about your journey to this studio?
You could ask me a simple, direct question like, how did you get here? Or for a habitual action, you could ask, how do you get to work?
And I could answer with, I take the bus or I come by car. Perfectly clear.
You can also use the verb to drive itself. For instance, I drive to work. That sentence clearly means you use your own car for your commute.
Now, let's consider the financial aspect of travel. How do we discuss the cost associated with different transportation methods?
You can use straightforward adjectives. You can say the bus is cheap, or the taxi is expensive, or you could make a comparative statement like taking a plane is expensive, but it is very fast.
Yes, or the train is not cheap, but it is very comfortable. So, to all our listeners, you now have a whole toolkit of words and phrases to use when you talk about your travels.
Now, let's talk about a potential problem we all hope to avoid. What is your advice, or what do you do if you accidentally leave a personal belonging behind on a bus?
Oh, that is a truly terrible situation. It's a sinking feeling. I actually lost my favorite umbrella on a bus one time. I was so upset.
What did you end up doing?
I immediately looked up the phone number for the bus company and called them. I said, "Hello, I believe I lost my umbrella on the number 25 bus this morning." I'd tried to be as specific as I could about the route and time.
And were you successful? Did you manage to get it back?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, it was a fairly inexpensive umbrella, so it wasn't a huge financial loss, but it was still annoying.
Oh, that's a shame. A similar thing happened to me once. I left a scarf on a train.
Did you have any luck retrieving it?
No, I never saw it again. And the real kicker was that it was my absolute favorite scarf. I loved that scarf.
Oh no, so it seems we have both experienced the pain of losing something.
Yes, we are both members of that unfortunate club. So this leads to some very practical advice for everyone. Always be mindful of your personal belongings when you are using public transportation.
Excellent advice. Make it a conscious habit to remember your bag, your phone, your wallet, and yes, your umbrella. Do a quick mental check every time you stand up to leave.
Exactly. Okay, let's shift our perspective to the future for a moment. Let's dream a little. What would be your ultimate dream mode of transportation? If money and physics were no object.
My dream transportation? Without a moment's hesitation, I would choose a private jet.
Ooh, a private jet. Now that is incredibly luxurious and, let's be honest, astronomically expensive.
I know. That's why it's a dream. In reality, my much more practical and achievable dream is to own a really nice, high-quality, comfortable bicycle. That is a dream I can actually work towards.
That is a far more realistic and wonderful dream. A good bicycle is a joy. It provides freedom, health, and happiness. What about your dream transportation?
I think my dream would be a hyper-fast train that could whisk me away to any major city in the country in just 1 hour.
Oh, that would be absolutely perfect. Imagine, no traffic jams, no security lines, no delays, just speed, comfort, and efficiency.
Maybe one day technology will get us there. Maybe one day.
So we have spoken at great length about the world of transportation. We've covered cars, buses, trains, planes, boats, bicycles, scooters, taxis, subways, and the humble but important method of traveling, on foot.
And we also introduced and explained some very key related vocabulary. We talked about your commute and the dreaded rush hour.
Yes, remember, your commute is your regular daily trip to your place of work or to study. And rush hour is that intensely busy period in the early morning and late afternoon when everyone is traveling at once.
So, if you have flexibility in your schedule, my best advice is to avoid traveling during rush hour if you can possibly manage it.
But we also have to be practical. Sometimes you simply cannot avoid it. Your work or school schedule demands that you travel at that time.
And for those times, you need to have a good strategy. You need a captivating book to read, an interesting podcast to listen to, or a playlist of your favorite music. These things make the time pass more pleasantly.
Exactly. The key is to cultivate patience. Patience is not just a virtue, it is an essential skill for anyone who relies on transportation, especially public transportation.
I think we have practiced and covered a tremendous amount today.
We certainly have. I am confident that our listeners have learned many new words and useful phrases to add to their English repertoire.
I'm sure they have. Now it's time to move into our dedicated vocabulary review segment. This is where we solidify everything.
So, for all our viewers, let's practice some of the most important and high-frequency words related to transportation. This is like a mini English lesson embedded right within our larger conversation.
Exactly. Our first word is a fundamental one: commute.
Commute. This is an extremely useful word. It is a noun that refers to the regular journey you make every day to your job or to your school.
For example, I could say, my commute is approximately 30 minutes long.
And I could say, my commute is 1 hour each way when I take the bus.
So, listeners, we would love to hear from you. Please tell us about your own commute in the comment section. Is it long? Is it short? What does it involve?
The next essential word is rush hour.
Rush hour. This is a compound noun that describes the peak travel times in the morning and evening when the roads are clogged with cars and the public transit vehicles are packed with people.
It's called rush hour because figuratively, everyone is in a rush, in a great hurry to get to their destination.
I will be honest, I do not enjoy rush hour at all. The buses are so full that sometimes I can't even find a place to stand comfortably, let alone find a seat.
Nobody likes rush hour. It is universally acknowledged as the worst time to travel. If you have the ability to travel before or after this period, your journey will be significantly more pleasant.
Let's look at a simpler phrase: on foot.
On foot. This is a straightforward phrase that simply means walking.
For instance, I go to the local cafe on foot.
Yes, because it is located very near to my house. I don't require a car or a bus for such a short distance.
It's a healthy habit, and as we agreed earlier, it's completely free of charge.
Now let's tackle a bigger term: public transportation.
Public transportation. This is a noun phrase that refers to any transportation system that is available for use by the general public.
Examples include buses, trains, trams, and subways. These are all forms of public transportation.
Using public transportation is a positive choice for the environment, as it reduces the number of individual cars on the road, and it can often be much cheaper than maintaining and fueling a personal vehicle.
You also don't need to worry about buying petrol.
Petrol. That's an important word. Petrol is the term used in British English for the liquid fuel that powers most cars. In American English, the common word is gas, short for gasoline.
So you might hear, I need to put petrol in my car, or I need to put gas in my car. Both are correct. It just depends on whether you are learning British or American English.
Now, let's talk about the money involved. The word is fare.
Fare. This is a noun that means the money you are required to pay for a journey on a form of public transportation.
For example, the bus fare is $2, or the train fare to travel to London is quite expensive.
You typically pay your fare when you board the bus or when you purchase a ticket before boarding a train.
Another useful word is route.
Route. This is a noun That means the path or the predetermined course that a bus, train, or other vehicle follows.
For instance, the number 25 bus has a route that goes directly through the heart of the city center.
It is very important to know and understand your bus or train route so that you can navigate effectively and avoid getting lost.
Now for a word we all encounter a little too often, delay.
Delay. This is a very common noun and verb that means a situation where something is late or takes longer than expected.
You might say, my train has a delay this morning, which is another way of saying, my train is late.
A very useful sentence to learn and remember is, sorry I am late, there was a bus delay. This is the phrase that everyone will understand because, as we said, it happens to everyone.
So remember the word delay. It's a key part of travel vocabulary.
And one last word, specifically for train travel, platform.
Platform. This is a noun that refers to the raised area in a railway station where passengers wait to board their train.
You will see signs displaying the platform number. For example, the train to Brighton is now departing from platform 4.
It is crucial to find the correct platform for your specific train, so always double-check the information boards.
Okay, we have introduced and explained a lot of new vocabulary today. Let's list them one more time for reinforcement. Commute, rush hour, on foot, public transportation, fare, route, delay, platform.
Wow, that is 8 new words and phrases we've covered together. That is fantastic progress for everyone.
And don't feel overwhelmed if it seems like a lot. The key is not to memorize them all at once. Just try to actively remember and use 2 or 3 of these new words in your own life this week.
Yes, little by little, step by step, your English knowledge and confidence will grow every single day. Consistency is the secret.
Now, let's try to use one of these words in a sentence together. Cindy, how is your daily commute?
My commute is usually quite fine, but unfortunately, sometimes there is an unexpected delay.
Perfect. You use both commute and delay naturally. And to all our listeners, we now have a challenge for you. Please try to create your own sentence using one of these new words and write it in the comments section below this video. We are always so excited and happy to read what you write.
Have you ever had one of those mornings where your alarm clock isn't the first thing you hear? Where something else, something with 4 legs and a very loud voice, decides your workday starts at 4 a.m.? If you have, then you and I are about to become very good friends. Welcome to a journey deep into the heart of our daily work lives, a place where passion meets patience and where every single day tells a new story. Stay with me, because your career perspective is about to be forever changed. Hello, and a heartfelt welcome back to Daily English Talk. We are absolutely thrilled you've decided to spend this time with us.
Hi, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to have you here. I'm Bob.
And I'm Cindy. On this channel, our single most important mission is to help you practice and understand real, authentic, everyday English, the kind you'll actually hear and use in normal conversations.
That's the core of it. So if you enjoy what we do here and find it valuable, we have a small request that makes a huge difference for us.
Absolutely. Please help our community grow. Click that subscribe button and give this video a like to let us know you're here and learning with us.
Yes, thank you so much. That support fuels everything we do. Now, today we are diving into a topic that is universally familiar, a subject that touches every single one of our lives in a profound way.
That's perfectly correct. We're going to have an extensive, in-depth conversation about our professions, our careers, the work we dedicate so much of our time and energy to. Are you ready to get started?
I'm completely ready. So, Cindy, To begin this exploration, how are you feeling today? Tell me, how is your day unfolding so far?
I'm feeling truly wonderful today, Bob. Thank you for asking. And what about you? How are you experiencing this day? What's your current state of mind?
I'll be completely honest with you. I'm feeling a little tired, just a bit fatigued, but overall I'm okay. I'm managing just fine.
Tired? That's not the ideal start. What's the reason behind you feeling tired today? Did you not get the restful sleep you were hoping for?
Well, the simple, uncomplicated truth is that I woke up exceptionally early this morning. I mean, it was profoundly early. The sun had not even begun to consider rising. The world outside my window was still completely dark and silent.
Oh no, that sounds incredibly challenging. What on earth compelled you to wake up at such an unearthly quiet hour? Was there an urgent matter you needed to attend to?
It was my cat. He decided with absolute certainty that it was his breakfast time. He was unbelievably loud and persistent about it. He has a very specific, very demanding way of communicating his hunger.
Your cat has such a unique and funny personality. He really does. It's a good thing he's so charming. What is his name again? I want to make sure all of our listeners know who we're talking about.
His name is Buster. He's a rather large, wonderfully fluffy orange cat with a personality that is even bigger than he is.
Of course, I remember Buster now. He is, at his core, a very good cat, a wonderful companion.
Well, I have to be fair and say that sometimes he is a very good cat, and sometimes, especially at 4 in the morning, he is decidedly not on his best behavior. But we love him anyway. Now, enough about my early morning feline alarm clock. What about you? Did you manage to get a full night of peaceful, restorative sleep?
Yes, I actually slept exceptionally well, thank you. I have a very calming evening ritual that I follow. Last night, I drank a soothing cup of herbal tea and spent about an hour reading a fascinating book right before I went to bed. It really helps to quiet my mind.
That sounds incredibly peaceful and quiet, the perfect way to unwind. My home environment in the morning is the complete opposite of quiet, as you can now imagine.
Well, I certainly hope that you are not feeling too tired to have our wonderful in-depth conversation today. Your energy and insights are so important.
Please don't worry about me at all. I am fully prepared and genuinely excited to talk with you. My mind is ready, even if my body is reminding me of the early wake-up call.
Excellent. So, as we've introduced, our central topic for today is the art of talking about your job, your occupation, your life's work. Bob, let's start this deep dive with you. What is it that you do? What is your specific profession, your title?
Well, professionally, I work as a graphic designer. That is my official title and my chosen career path.
A graphic designer. Now that sounds truly fascinating and very creative. But could you elaborate for us? What exactly does a graphic designer do on a day-to-day basis? What does that title actually mean in practice?
In the simplest terms, I create and design visual concepts, primarily using my computer as my main tool. I craft visuals that communicate ideas, messages, and identities. For instance, a very significant part of my work involves designing logos for all sorts of different companies and businesses.
Logos, that's a key term. For those who might not be familiar, could you explain what a logo is in a bit more details?
Certainly. A logo is essentially a unique symbolic visual mark or emblem that is created to represent a company or a brand. It's their visual identity. For a classic, globally recognized example, think of the massive technology company Apple. Their logo is a simple, elegant bitten apple symbol. That icon is their logo.
Oh, I see it clearly now. So, are you telling me that you are the artist who draws that famous Apple logo?
Well, not that specific Apple logo, no. But yes, the fundamental concept is the same. I draw and design pictorial representations and symbols exactly like that for other clients. I also work extensively on making websites visually appealing and easy to navigate. And I create detailed, eye-catching illustrations for things like posters, advertisements, and promotional materials.
That entire process sounds like an incredibly fun and engaging job. Do you find that you have a genuine passion for it? Do you love what you do?
I absolutely love it. It is a career that allows me to tap into my creativity constantly. I get to work with a vast spectrum of colors and shapes. The idea that I get to draw and design as my actual profession is a dream come true for me. However, I must also be transparent and say that it is not without its challenges. Sometimes it can be a little difficult.
Difficult. In what way? What are the specific aspects that present a challenge for you in your graphic design work?
Well, sometimes the technology itself can be a hurdle. My computer might decide to run very, very slowly on a day when I have a critical deadline. Other times, the challenge comes from client feedback. A client might look at a design and say, Bob, I'm not personally fond of this particular color you've chosen. Is it possible for you to change it to something else?
Yes, I can certainly imagine that. So, when that happens, you simply change the color to accommodate their preference?
Precisely. I make the requested color change, working to find the new shade that they will appreciate. And then, on occasion, the client will review the new version and say, upon reflection, I think I preferred the first color you showed me more.
Oh no. That must be so frustrating. And yet, there's a funny side to it as well. But you always seem to possess an incredible amount of patience, Bob. It's one of your defining qualities.
I genuinely try my best to be patient. I have learned that patience is not just a virtue, it is an integral, non-negotiable part of the job description when you work directly with clients. It's about collaboration and communication.
It truly is. That collaborative spirit is so important. Now it's my turn to share. Shall we turn the tables? What about my professional life? What is my job?
Yes, of course. Please tell us. What is your profession, Cindy?
I am a teacher. That is my role and my calling.
A teacher. That is a truly wonderful and noble profession. It's so vital. What specific subject do you teach?
I teach the English language, but with a very special and energetic group. I teach English specifically to children.
Children. Really? How old are these young learners you work with?
They are between the ages of 6 and 10 years old. They're very young, full of innocence and wonder.
Wow, that must be an incredibly interesting, albeit demanding experience. Is the classroom environment typically loud?
Sometimes. Sometimes it is very, very loud. There's no denying that. But it is also incredibly fun and dynamic. The children possess a boundless, radiant energy that is both exhausting and infectious.
That reminds me of when I was a child myself. I know I had an enormous amount of energy too. I can only imagine what a classroom full of that must be like.
I absolutely believe it. My students particularly love to sing songs and play interactive educational games. It's how they learn best.
Do you actually sing songs with them, you personally?
Yes, I do. We sing all sorts of learning songs. We have a special song about the 7 days of the week. We sing another song about different types of weather and seasons. It makes memorization so much easier and more enjoyable for them.
That's fantastic. Can you sing a little bit of one of those songs for me right now? Just a small sample?
Oh no, I absolutely couldn't sing right now. This isn't the right setting. Maybe another time in a different context.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe another time then. So, getting to the heart of it, do you genuinely like being a teacher? Does it fulfill you?
I don't just like it, I love it. It is undoubtedly hard work. It requires immense dedication, but it is also profoundly rewarding. The challenges are far outweighed by the joys.
Rewarding. That's a powerful word. What does rewarding mean in this context? Can you elaborate on that feeling?
It means it gives me a deep internal sense of happiness and satisfaction. It makes me feel that my work has a positive purpose and meaning. When a student finally understands a new concept or learns a new word, I feel an incredible warm happiness. It's a feeling of making a real difference.
That sounds like a truly great feeling. I can relate to that in my own way. For me, when a client sees my final logo design and their face lights up because they truly love it, I also feel very good, very satisfied inside.
So it seems our jobs, though very different on the surface, are both rewarding in their unique ways. They both provide that deep sense of purpose.
They certainly are. Now, can you tell me about your workplace, Cindy? Where do you conduct your classes? Do you work in a large institutional school?
No, actually, I work in a small, privately owned language school. It has a very cozy, personal atmosphere, and it has a fantastic practical benefit. It's located very near my house.
That is incredibly convenient. A short commute is a modern-day luxury. Do you walk to work?
Yes, I do. I walk to work almost every day. It takes me approximately 10 minutes, 15 if I'm walking particularly slowly and enjoying the morning air.
That sounds perfect. Just the ideal way to start a day. My situation is quite different. I work from home. My entire office is set up in a dedicated room in my apartment.
You work from home every single day? That's your permanent arrangement?
Yes, every day, my professional world is contained within the walls of my home.
Is that a good setup for you? Do you enjoy working from home?
For the most part, yes, it is very comfortable and efficient. I have everything I need right here. I can wear my pajamas if I feel like it, which is a nice perk.
You work in your pajamas? Seriously?
Sometimes, yes, especially on days when I don't have any video calls scheduled, but it's not without its own set of problems or drawbacks. It's not a perfect system.
What kind of problems? What are the challenges of a home office?
Well, sometimes I feel a little lonely. There's a certain social isolation that can set in. I don't see my coworkers in person. I don't have those spontaneous, casual conversations by the coffee machine.
I can understand that completely. Human connection is important. Do you have many coworkers even though they are remote?
I have 5 coworkers that I collaborate with regularly, but my interaction with them is almost entirely through a digital screen. I only see them on the computer.
Oh, so you have regular video calls to stay connected.
Yes, exactly. We have a structured team video call every single Monday morning. We use that time to talk about our ongoing projects, our priorities for the week, and any challenges we are facing.
That sounds like a good way to maintain some structure. Are those Monday morning meetings typically long?
It really depends on the week and the topics at hand. Sometimes they are quite brief and to the point, wrapping up in 20 minutes. Other times they can stretch on and become rather long.
What causes them to be long? Is there a particular reason?
Well, my coworker Ben, he's a great guy, but he really loves to talk. He has a lot of ideas and anecdotes to share. So when he gets going, the meeting can extend considerably. But I don't mind too much because he's also very funny. So it's an enjoyable diversion. We end up laughing a lot during our meetings.
That sounds much more pleasant than some meetings. Our teachers' meetings are generally more serious and focused. We discuss student progress, upcoming tests, and curriculum planning. It's important, but it's not typically a source of much laughter.
That does sound important, crucial really, but perhaps not as entertaining as our calls.
No, not very entertaining. Although, Mr. Davis, who is my boss, sometimes brings in homemade cookies to our meetings, which definitely improves the mood.
Cookies. I love cookies. Now that is a sign of a truly good boss, a leader who understands the value of a good snack.
Yes, he is a very good and thoughtful boss. It's a small gesture, but it makes a big difference.
So shifting gears a little, what specific skills do you believe are essential for your job, Cindy? What does one need to be a successful teacher for young children?
Skills. Well, the foremost skill, without a doubt, is patience. Immense, bottomless patience. Children will often ask the same question many, many times as they process new information. They need repetition to learn.
I can imagine that requires a monumental amount of patience. It's not just about knowing the material, but about delivering it in a way that is accessible again and again.
Exactly. I also need to be highly organized. Every lesson requires careful, detailed planning to be effective. And perhaps most importantly, I need to be kind and empathetic. The children need to feel safe, valued, and happy in the classroom environment for learning to truly happen.
And you, Cindy, are clearly all of those things. It shines through when you talk about your students.
Thank you, Bob. That's very kind of you to say. Now, let me ask you a similar question. Did you always want to be a graphic designer? Was it a lifelong dream?
No, not always. When I was a child, my dream was completely different. I passionately wanted to be a pilot.
A pilot? To fly airplanes? That's a fascinating childhood dream.
Yes, I wanted to travel and see the world from above. But then, as I grew older, I started to develop a deep love for art and drawing. It began to consume my interests. So gradually, I changed my dream and my career path to align with this new passion.
That is a wonderful evolution. What about you? Was teaching always your goal?
Yes, it was actually. I always wanted to be a teacher. I even used to play school with my toys when I was little. My dolls and stuffed animals were my very first, very patient students.
That is so incredibly cute. I am sure your toys received an excellent education.
I like to think they did. They were a very attentive, if silent class.
That leads me to another question. If you weren't a teacher today, what other job do you think you would like to try?
That is a difficult question, but an interesting one. Perhaps the tour guide. I love meeting new people, and I enjoy talking about the history and culture of my city. I think it would be a wonderful way to share that passion.
You would be a fantastic tour guide. You have a naturally friendly and engaging manner. People would love to listen to you.
Thank you. What about you, Bob? If you weren't a graphic designer, what would your alternative path be?
That is a difficult question for me as well. Maybe a chef. I have discovered that I really enjoy cooking. It's a different kind of creativity, and I find it very relaxing.
Really? I didn't know that about you.
Yes, it's a hobby that helps me decompress after a long day at the computer.
Well, maybe one day we can have second jobs. We could open a coffee shop for chefs and tour guides.
And it would, of course, need a logo made about me.
Absolutely. A smiling coffee cup. It would be perfect.
Absolutely. A smiling coffee cup. It would be perfect.
Well, Cindy, I feel like we've covered so much ground about our professional lives. We've really delved deep.
We really have. I feel as though I have a vivid picture of your classroom and your students now, and I feel like I know your coworker Ben and, of course, your cat Buster on a much more personal level.
They are both, in their own unique ways, very important parts of my work life. Even Buster, with his early morning demands, plays a role in shaping my day.
So let's take a moment to consolidate what we've practiced today. For everyone listening, we've talked about a multitude of things related to jobs and careers.
Yes, we began with the most fundamental question of all. What do you do? That is the most common and universal way to ask about someone's profession.
What do you do? Or the equally direct, what is your job? And we answered with straightforward statements. I am a teacher, and I am a graphic designer.
Yes, and we expanded on that by talking about our specific duties, what we actually do in our roles. You teach children, and I create logos and digital designs on the computer.
We also described our work environments in detail. You work from a home office, and I work in a small physical school building.
That's right. We use the phrase, I work from home. That is an extremely useful and modern phrase that so many people can relate to these days.
We discussed the people we work with, our coworkers and our bosses. Remember, a coworker is a person you work alongside, often for the same company.
And we walked through our daily schedules, the rhythm of our workdays, what time we start, what time we finish, and how we structure our tasks.
You generally start at 9 a.m., and I start at 8:30 a.m., and you finish much later than I do. I'm often done by 3:30 in the afternoon.
But you rightly pointed out that your work sometimes continues on the weekend when you prepare your lessons, which shows dedication goes beyond the clock.
And we talked about the emotional landscape of our jobs, the good parts, which are incredibly rewarding, and the difficult parts, which can be tiring. But we both agree that this is a normal part of any profession.
We also took the time to learn and explain some new vocabulary words together, such as client, routine, and skills.
I truly hope that listening to our natural conversation has been excellent practice for your listening comprehension skills.
You can always listen to it again to reinforce your understanding, and you can try a technique called shadowing, which means you speak the words at the same time we do. It's a fantastic method for improving your pronunciation and rhythm.
Now it's your turn to speak, metaphorically speaking. We have a very important question for all of you.
It's our question of the day. We always love, and I mean genuinely love, hearing from you in the comments section. It's also tremendous practice for your English writing skills.
Today's question is, what is your job? Or if you prefer, what is your dream job?
Yes, please tell us. You can write a short, simple sentence. For example, I am a student. And let me tell you, being a student is a very important and demanding job in itself.
Or I am a doctor, or I am a cook. If you aren't currently employed, you can absolutely tell us about your dream job. What profession would you like to have in the future?
For example, you could write, my dream job is to be a pilot, or I want to be a musician. You can use the sentence structures we practiced. I am A, or I want to be A.
We make a promise to read every single comment. We are always so happy and excited to read your answers and learn more about your lives and aspirations. It directly helps us create better, more relevant videos for you.
Also, if you have any ideas for our next discussion topic, you can write them in the comments too. What should we talk about next time?
Maybe we could discuss hobbies or food or holidays and travel. Let us know what you are personally interested in. Your input guides our content. My heart was pounding so hard, I could barely hear my own thoughts. I was standing in a room full of people, all waiting for me to speak, and the only English word my mind could conjure was hello. It was a moment of pure, terrifying silence that stretched into what felt like an eternity. I share this with you not to scare you, but because I know I'm not alone. That feeling of being completely stuck, unable to express the storm of emotions inside you, is a universal language of frustration. It was on that day I made a promise to myself. I would master the vocabulary of feelings. Hello, and welcome to a special episode of Daily English Talk, a sanctuary where we build your confidence in real, everyday English. I'm Cindy, and joining me is my wonderful co-host, Bob. We're absolutely thrilled you've decided to join our conversation today.
We truly are, Cindy. And you know, that story you just told resonates so deeply. We've all been there, frozen by the fear of not finding the right words. That's precisely why what we're discussing today is so incredibly vital. It's the key to unlocking genuine connection.
It truly is. So if you're ready to move beyond just hello and start sharing what's truly happening in your heart and mind, you are in the perfect place. This is more than a lesson, it's a toolkit for your emotional expression. Let's begin this journey together.
Before we dive in, we have a small request. If the content we create here helps you, if it makes your English journey a little brighter and clearer, please support our community by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. That simple click helps us reach more wonderful learners like you.
It makes a world of difference to us. Thank you for being such an important part of this. Now, let's get straight to the heart of the matter. Today, we are immersing ourselves in the world of emotions. We are going to learn, practice, and perfect how to talk about your feelings in English. This is fundamental. It's the bridge between simple small talk and meaningful, memorable conversations.
So Cindy, to get us started in the present moment, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling wonderful. Thank you for asking, Bob. Waking up to such bright sunshine just filled me with a lot of positive energy. It genuinely lifted my spirits. And what about you? How are you today?
I am doing quite well overall. I have to admit, I'm feeling a little tired, but it's a good kind of tired. I stayed up later than I should have last night watching an incredibly long film.
Oh no, what was the movie that was captivating enough to steal your sleep?
It was a classic epic, one of those 3-hour journeys. It was worth the lost sleep, but my body is certainly reminding me of it today.
Well, I certainly hope you can catch up on your rest tonight and wake up feeling completely refreshed. Getting enough sleep is so crucial for both our physical and mental well-being.
I agree 100%. I plan on it. So, Cindy, what did you get up to over the weekend? Anything interesting?
I did actually. I took a short trip to visit my family. We had a lovely, intimate dinner together on Saturday evening. It was nothing fancy, just good food and even better company. It felt really nice to reconnect.
That sounds absolutely lovely. I am so happy for you. Those simple, heartfelt moments with family are often the most precious.
They really are. And you see, right there in our simple exchange, we have already begun demonstrating the core of today's topic. We naturally started talking about our current states. I said, I am feeling wonderful. And you said, I am doing quite well. And you also mentioned, I'm feeling a little tired. We're already navigating the landscape of emotions.
That's a perfect observation. We used both I am and I feel to express our emotional state. This is the foundation. A question we often get is there a significant difference between using I am and I feel when describing an emotion?
That is an excellent question, and it's one that deserves a clear answer. Generally, in everyday conversation, they are largely interchangeable, and both are perfectly correct. You can say, I am happy and I feel happy, and the meaning is fundamentally the same. However, there can be a subtle, nuanced difference in certain contexts. Sometimes I feel can point more directly to your emotional experience in this very moment, a temporary state, whereas I am can sometimes imply a more general characteristic state, though this is not a rigid rule.
Exactly. So, for instance, if I say, I am a happy person, I am describing my overall disposition, my general character. But if I say, I feel happy right now because the sun is shining, I am specifically describing my emotional response to a current situation.
You've explained that perfectly. It's a small distinction, but being aware of it can add depth and precision to your communication. The most important thing, however, is to use them with confidence. Now, let's begin building our emotional vocabulary from the ground up. We'll start with some of the most common and simple feelings that form the bedrock of our daily interactions. Bob, can you describe a specific situation that typically makes you feel happy?
Absolutely, Cindy. One of the simplest things that never fails to make me feel happy is enjoying a meal featuring my absolute favorite food. A perfectly made pizza, for instance, with a crispy crust and delicious toppings, brings me a genuine sense of joy and contentment. It's a small pleasure, but a significant one.
A pizza seems to be a universal language of happiness itself. I completely understand that feeling. A slice of good pizza can feel like a warm greeting. For me, I also feel profound happiness when I have a deep, meaningful conversation with a close friend, or at the end of a productive day when I can look back and see that I have accomplished all the tasks I set out to do. There's a deep satisfaction in that.
That is a magnificent feeling, without a doubt. I experienced something similar. When I finally finish cleaning my entire apartment, especially when I've been putting it off, I feel a surge of happiness. Seeing everything tidy, organized, and sparkling clean gives me a sense of control and accomplishment. Then I can truly relax and enjoy my space.
Nodding. A clean space truly does lead to a clearer, happier mind. It's like you've cleared away mental clutter along with the physical clutter. Now, to build a balanced vocabulary, we must also be able to express the less vibrant shades of our emotional spectrum. What would you say is the direct opposite of feeling happy?
The most fundamental opposite of happy is, without a doubt, sad. The feeling of sadness is a deep and heavy emotion. I personally feel sad when we have prolonged periods of rain, day after day, and the sun remains hidden behind a thick blanket of gray clouds. The lack of light and warmth affects my mood considerably.
I can certainly relate to that. Weather has a powerful impact on our emotions.
For me, a poignant moment that brings about sadness is when I have to say goodbye to my family after a wonderful visit. There's a sense of emptiness that follows, a longing for their company that can be quite profound.
Oh, that is a deeply universal and sad feeling. It's the price we pay for loving someone and enjoying their presence. I also feel a wave of sadness when I watch a particularly emotional movie, especially one about a loyal animal like a dog who gets separated from their owner. I have to admit, it often moves me to tears.
Bob, that is incredibly sweet and speaks volumes about your compassionate nature. It is perfectly okay and even healthy to feel sad sometimes. It is a natural and human response to certain life events. It means we have the capacity to care, to love, and to form deep attachments. Suppressing sadness would be like denying a part of our humanity.
I completely agree. It is an essential part of our emotional fabric. So we have now established our first two foundational emotional pillars, happy and sad. But our bodies also communicate their states through distinct feelings. We already mentioned tired, which is a physical sensation that profoundly affects our mental state. I am tired today because of my late night movie adventure.
Yes, and that's a perfect example. Tired is a feeling rooted in our physical condition. I feel tired after I push myself through a long, intense run. My muscles ache and my energy is depleted. I also feel tired when I don't get a sufficient amount of quality sleep. My eyelids feel heavy and my concentration drifts.
So we have happy, sad, and tired as core feelings. What other simple, physically based feelings should we add to our essential toolkit? What about hungry? I must confess I am feeling a little hungry right now.
Oh, really? But it's only mid-morning. Did you skip breakfast?
I didn't skip it entirely, but I only had a small banana, and it clearly wasn't enough to sustain me until lunch. My stomach is now gently reminding me of that fact.
Well, I am not hungry at the moment, but I am certainly starting to feel thirsty. I could really go for a warm cup of coffee right now to help me focus and feel refreshed.
Coffee is always a good idea. So we add hungry and thirsty to our list. These are primal feelings that originate from our body's immediate needs. And it's important to note that we can experience varying intensities of these feelings. We can be a little hungry, quite hungry, or very hungry. When I am very hungry, my ability to think clearly completely diminishes. My brain simply refuses to function properly.
I know that feeling all too well. It's like my mental capacity is directly linked to my blood sugar levels. Let's now transition from these basic states to some more powerful, complex emotions. Sometimes happiness isn't just a calm contentment, it's a vibrant, buzzing energy.
That vibrant, buzzing energy you're describing, Cindy, is perfectly captured by the word excited. It's a feeling of eager anticipation and lively joy about something that is going to happen. It's happiness projected into the future.
Excited is a fantastic word, brimming with positive potential. I feel genuinely excited right before a long-awaited holiday, or when I'm preparing to travel to a destination I've never visited before. My mind fills with images of all the fascinating sights I will see, the unique experiences I will have, and the wonderful memories I will create.
I share that feeling entirely. The very process of planning a trip excites me. I spend hours looking at photographs online, reading about local customs, and imagining myself there. But, and this is where emotions can get complex, sometimes when I specifically think about the flight itself, about being up in the air in a metal tube, I also begin to feel a little nervous.
Nervous? That's a crucial emotion to recognize. Can you elaborate on what that feeling of being nervous is like for you?
Certainly, for me, feeling nervous is a sensation of unease and worry about an upcoming situation where the outcome is uncertain. It's a low-grade fear of the unknown. For example, right before I have to speak in front of a large audience, I feel distinctly nervous. My palms might get a little clammy, and I can feel my heartbeat quicken.
But Bob, you are speaking right now, in front of our wonderful viewers. That's a form of public speaking.
That is a very astute point. But in this context, I am having a conversation with you, my friend, in an environment that feels safe and familiar. The nervous feeling isn't present now. It's the specific context of a formal, large audience that can trigger it.
That is an excellent distinction. So, excited and nervous can often be experienced simultaneously, can't they? They are not mutually exclusive. It's like the feeling a student might have before their first day at a new school. They are excited to make new friends, but nervous about meeting new teachers and navigating unfamiliar hallways.
Precisely, it's a mixed emotional state. Another powerful and often challenging feeling is angry.
Oh, yes, anger. It's an intense emotion that few people enjoy experiencing. It can feel overwhelming.
It truly can. I feel angry when I find myself stuck in a massive traffic jam, inching forward at a snail's pace, especially when I know I'm going to be late for an important meeting. The feeling of helplessness and frustration can boil over into anger.
That is a very common trigger. I feel a surge of anger when I misplace something important, like my phone. I frantically look everywhere under the couch cushions, in my bag, on my desk, and the inability to find it creates a sense of panic and irritation that quickly turns to anger.
It's a truly unpleasant sensation. So, an important question is, when you feel that anger rising, what constructive steps do you take to manage it?
My strategy is to pause and take a long, deep breath. I consciously inhale slowly, hold it for a moment, and then exhale even more slowly. Sometimes I will even count to 10 in my head. This simple act creates a crucial moment of space between the trigger and my reaction. On other occasions, I might listen to some calming instrumental music or drink a full glass of cold water. It's about grounding myself.
That is a very intelligent and healthy approach. I should definitely try the counting technique the next time I'm in traffic. My usual method is to just talk to myself, which probably looks a bit strange to other drivers.
Curiously, what do you usually say to yourself in those moments?
I say things like, "It's okay, Bob. Just be patient. You'll arrive when you arrive. Getting upset won't make the car move any faster." But I must admit, I don't always fully believe my own reassurance in the heat of the moment.
Well, it's a fantastic start. The mere act of acknowledging the feeling and attempting to calm yourself is a victory. Let's shift to another common emotion: surprised.
Surprised. I have a great fondness for that feeling. It's the emotional response to something happening that you did not expect at all.
Exactly. And it's important to note that a surprise can either be wonderfully positive or unsettlingly negative. A good surprise is when a close friend shows up at your door unexpectedly with a small gift, or when your manager at work pulls you aside to say, "You did an exceptional job on that project, Bob."
Those are fantastic surprises. A bad surprise, on the other hand, is when you suddenly see a large spider dangling from the ceiling right above your bed, or when you are glancing at your calendar and realize with a jolt that you completely forgot a good friend's birthday.
Ooh, yes. Spiders are a very bad surprise for me. They trigger a completely different emotion that we will discuss shortly. Let's continue expanding our emotional range.
You mentioned spider, Cindy, and that leads us perfectly into our next feeling: scared. Fear is a primal, powerful emotion designed to protect us.
Scared is a very physical feeling for me. I feel scared when I watch a horror film, the kind with ghosts and things that go bump in the night. My heart races, and I might even jump in my seat. But if it makes you feel so scared, why do you choose to watch those movies? It seems counterintuitive.
It's a strange paradox, isn't it? In a controlled environment, the feeling of being scared can be thrilling, a little exciting. But the problem is, after the movie ends, the feeling doesn't always go away. I then feel scared of the dark in my own apartment and find myself turning on every single light to walk from the living room to the kitchen.
Oh, Bob, Maybe for your own peace of mind, you should consider watching a happy comedy next time.
That is probably very sound advice. What kinds of situations make you feel scared, Cindy?
I feel a jolt of fear, a real sense of being scared, when I hear a sudden loud noise in the middle of the night. The unknown source of the sound is what triggers it. I also feel scared when I have to walk alone down a poorly lit street or through a dark parking lot. My senses become heightened and my heart beats very fast, just like you described.
Those things make me feel scared too. It's a completely normal and adaptive human response. That physical reaction is our body's ancient, hardwired mechanism telling us to be cautious, to be alert, and to protect ourselves from potential danger.
Absolutely. It is our internal alarm system, and it is perfectly okay to acknowledge feeling scared sometimes. Now, let's move to the complete opposite end of the emotional spectrum from both scared and nervous. Let's talk about a beautifully calm feeling, relaxed.
Relaxed. Now, that is a wonderful word. I feel deeply relaxed on a Sunday morning when I have no obligations. I can slowly drink my coffee, read a book for pleasure, and just let the time pass without any pressure or stress. It's a feeling of pure peace.
That sounds absolutely perfect. I feel relaxed after a good session of exercise, when all the tension has been worked out of my muscles, or after a long, hot shower that soothes both my body and my mind. It's a state of quiet contentment.
Those are excellent examples. So, relax is essentially the antithesis of nervous. It's a state of being calm, where both your body and your mind are at ease, free from worry. Now, how about the feeling when you are anticipating a future event with happiness? It's similar to excitement, but often a bit more calm and sustained.
Are you thinking of the phrase looking forward to?
Yes, exactly. I am looking forward to something. It means you are happily anticipating a future event. It's a positive feeling that lives in the near future. Can you use it in a sentence, Cindy?
Of course. I am looking forward to the weekend because I have plans to go hiking. I am also looking forward to our next recording session for this podcast. It's always a highlight of my week.
And I am looking forward to having pizza for dinner tonight. It seems to be a recurring theme for me.
It certainly does. And I am looking forward to the summer season with its warm weather and long, sunny days.
Me too. It's a consistently optimistic feeling. Now, let's discuss a feeling that is unfortunately all too common in our fast-paced world. What about when you have an overwhelming amount of work and deadlines are looming? How do you feel then?
That feeling when the pressure mounts and your to-do list seems endless is best described as stressed. It's that sensation of being mentally and emotionally overloaded. Stressed is a very common feeling indeed. I feel stressed when I have a seemingly impossible number of tasks to complete and the clock is ticking, reminding me that there are not enough hours in the day. It's a feeling of being stretched too thin.
I know that feeling well. I feel stressed before a major examination or when I'm leading a big, important project at work with many moving parts. The weight of responsibility can be heavy.
It truly can. So, an essential skill is knowing what to do when we feel stressed. What is your personal strategy for managing that feeling, Bog? How do you find your way back to a sense of calm?
My most effective method is to make a list. I take a piece of paper or open a note on my computer, and I write down every single thing I need to accomplish. Seeing the tasks concretely defined outside of the chaotic whirlwind in my mind helps immensely. Then I prioritize them. This simple act of organization makes the mountain of work feel like a series of manageable hills. It helps me feel more calm and in control.
That is a brilliant and highly practical idea. The act of writing it down transfers the burden from your mind onto the paper. I should definitely start making lists for my own work projects. It's a proactive step against the chaos of stress. Now, let's not forget about a simpler yet very prevalent feeling. What about when you have nothing to do, when the day feels long and empty?
Are you referring to feeling bored?
Exactly, bored. I feel bored when I have no engaging activities, no compelling book to read, no interesting movie to watch, and no immediate plans. It's a state of listlessness and disinterest.
Really? You? I have a hard time imagining you ever feeling bored, Cindy. You always seem to find something fascinating to do, learn, or create.
Okay, you've got me. It's true, I do usually find a way to occupy myself, but occasionally, on a long, uneventful, rainy day with no plans and no motivation, I can feel a little bored. The world just feels dull.
So, when that rare moment of boredom strikes, what do you do to shake it off?
I usually proactively change my state. I might call a friend for a chat, which instantly connects me to another person's world. Or I'll play a word game on my phone to challenge my mind. Sometimes, and I know this might sound strange, I even start cleaning my house.
You clean your house when you're bored. That is a productive way to handle it.
Sometimes it's not the most fun activity in the moment, I admit, but it is ultimately useful. And afterwards, I always feel good because I've accomplished something tangible. My environment is cleaner and more orderly, which positively affects my mood. Let's now turn our focus outward. So far, we've mostly discussed feelings we experience about our own lives. But what about the feelings we experience in response to what happens to other people?
That's a crucial expansion of our topic. For example, when a close friend is going through a difficult time and is sad, how does that make you feel?
I feel sorry for them. My heart goes out to them. I feel empathy and a genuine desire to help in any way I can. I might say to them, I am so sorry you are feeling this way. Or, is there anything I can do to help you?
That is a kind and compassionate feeling. We call that sympathy or empathy. And conversely, if your friend achieves a great success and is very happy, how do you feel then?
I feel happy for them. Their joy becomes my joy. I would say, I am incredibly happy for you. It's a way of sharing in their positive experience.
I am happy for you is one of the most wonderful and connective phrases we can use in any language. It strengthens bonds. What about when you see a stranger who is struggling, perhaps someone who has fallen down or looks lost? Do you feel sorry for them as well?
Yes, I absolutely do. I feel a sense of concern and sympathy for them, a desire to offer assistance if it's appropriate and safe. Feelings are not limited to our immediate circle, they can extend to all of humanity.
It's true. Feelings can be beautifully complex and interconnected. Let's practice a little more with some other common emotional states. Cindy, how do you feel when you receive a high score on a challenging test?
In that situation, I feel proud. It's a warm, satisfying feeling of having done well through my own efforts. I feel proud of the work I invested and proud of myself for studying effectively.
Proud is a magnificent feeling. It's a form of self-recognition. I feel proud when I successfully use a new and difficult English word in a conversation, or when I manage to cook a complex meal that turns out delicious. It's the direct reward for our dedication and hard work.
Those are perfect examples. And our wonderful viewers feel proud when they successfully understand a full conversation in one of our videos, or when they use a new phrase correctly. It's a fantastic motivator.
I truly hope so. That feeling of pride is a powerful fuel for continued learning. Now, let's consider a very different scenario. How do you feel when you are forced to wait for a long time? For instance, in a slow-moving queue at the supermarket.
I feel impatient. It's a restless, frustrated feeling. I don't like to wait when I feel my time is being wasted. Standing in a long line without moving makes me feel impatient and agitated.
Nobody enjoys waiting, but it's a test of our ability to be patient. I must confess, I am still trying to master this skill. It does not come easily to me.
It isn't easy for anyone. It requires conscious practice. Another common feeling, especially when learning a new language, is confused.
Confused, yes. That's the feeling of not understanding when things are unclear or seem contradictory. I feel confused when I try to read a very complex philosophical book. The concepts are just beyond my grasp. Or when a group of native English speakers are talking very rapidly with each other using lots of slang, I can feel completely lost and confused.
But we always make a point to speak clearly and at a moderate pace here on our channel.
Yes, you do. So ideally, no one should feel confused while listening to us. Let's revisit the feeling of worried, as it's so common. How would you distinguish it from nervous?
For me, worried is like a quieter, more persistent cousin of nervous. It's a low-level anxiety that gnaws at you. I feel worried when my sister is late coming home and isn't answering her phone. My mind starts creating scenarios. Is she okay? Did something happen? That is worry.
That kind of worry stems from a place of deep care and love. It's a manifestation of your love for your sister. And love is, of course, the most profound and powerful feeling of all.
It truly is. We love our families, we love our friends, and we love the journey of learning and growing, including learning English.
And we love our viewers for sharing this journey with us. Now, what about the feeling when something you eagerly anticipated does not happen? When your expectations are not met?
That is disappointment. It's a sad, let down feeling. I feel disappointed when an outdoor picnic I was looking forward to has to be canceled due to sudden heavy rain. All that preparation and the anticipation washes away.
I feel a strong sense of disappointment when my favorite football team loses a very important match, especially in the final minutes. It feels like a shared loss.
Oh, that's a significant disappointment for you. I've seen how invested you can be in the game.
It is. For a day or two afterwards, I feel a little sad. It takes a bit of time to move past it. Now, here's an interesting one. How do you feel at the end of a long, physically demanding day that was also incredibly fun and fulfilling, like after a day spent hiking in the mountains?
That's a complex mix. I feel tired, my body is exhausted, but simultaneously happy. My mind is replaying the beautiful views and the sense of achievement. It's a good tired, as they say.
Yes, there isn't always one perfect word for every single emotional combination, and that's perfectly fine. We can use two or more words to describe our nuanced states. I am tired, but happy. I am nervous, but excited. This is a key point in mastering emotional expression.
That is an exceptionally good point, Bob. Feelings are frequently mixed and layered. It's not about finding one single label, but about accurately describing your internal landscape. So it's completely acceptable to use multiple descriptors. How would you describe the feeling when you have an abundance of physical and mental energy?
And we are always here for you. Remember, every feeling you experience is valid. It is a part of the human experience. Giving yourself permission to feel and then finding the words to express it is a tremendous act of self-care and courage.
It truly is. Talking about our feelings helps us understand our own hearts and minds more deeply, and it opens a door for others to understand us on a more meaningful level. So please, we encourage you to try using these words in your daily life. Say, I am happy today, or I feel a little tired. It is excellent practice for your English, and more importantly, it is nourishing for your emotional well-being.
We have explored a vast landscape of emotions together today. It has been a truly enriching and profound conversation, Cindy.
It really has, Bob. But I believe it's always helpful to solidify our learning by revisiting some of the key vocabulary. Let's do a quick, focused review of a few essential words to help lock them into our memory.
That is a wonderful idea. Let's explain a few of these words slowly and with clear examples.
Let's begin with a very useful and positive word. Our first word is excited. Excited. Repeat after me, excited. Excited.
Okay, what does excited mean, Cindy?
It means you're feeling very happy and full of energetic anticipation about something that is going to happen in the future. It's a positive and forward-looking emotion. Can you give us an example, Bob?
Of course. I am excited for my vacation next month. Or she is excited about starting her new job.
Perfect. My example is the children are excited for the school break. They can barely wait for it to begin.
Yes, that's the exact feeling. It's like happiness mixed with eager energy. Now, our viewers, can you think of one thing you are excited about? Try to form a complete sentence. I am excited about. Let's give them a quiet moment. Did you think of one? Excellent.
Our second word is very important for describing a common human experience. It is nervous. Repeat after me. Nervous. Nervous.
This is a crucial one. Nervous is that feeling of being somewhat anxious, worried, or slightly scared about something that is going to happen, often because you are uncertain of the outcome.
Yes, you might feel physical signs like cold hands or a faster heartbeat. It's an uncomfortable but usually temporary state. Can you provide an example, Bob?
Sure, I feel nervous before I have to give a presentation, or he is nervous about speaking to his boss.
And my example is I was nervous on my first day at a new school. I didn't know anyone and was worried about finding my classrooms.
But it was okay, right? The nervous feeling eventually faded.
Exactly. After I settled in, I felt much more relaxed. It's often a feeling that passes.
Now, let's move to a very pleasant word. Our third word is relaxed. Repeat after me. Relaxed.
Relaxed. I love this word. Relaxed is the beautiful opposite of nervous or stressed. It means you feel calm, peaceful, and completely at ease. Your mind is quiet, and your body is free from tension.
For example, I feel relaxed when I listen to the sound of ocean waves. Or after a long massage, I feel completely relaxed.
My example is on a quiet Saturday morning with no plans, I drink tea and read a book. I feel very relaxed.
That sounds ideal. So when you are relaxed, both your body and mind are in a state of rest. It's wonderfully restorative.
Okay, number 4 is a positive word about accomplishment. The word is proud. Repeat after me. Proud. Proud.
This means you feel a deep sense of satisfaction and pleasure in something you have achieved, or in something someone close to you has achieved. It's a feeling of well-earned dignity.
For example, I am proud of my improvement in English. Or, her parents are proud of her for winning the scholarship.
And my example is, I felt proud of myself when I finally finished writing my book. It was a long and difficult project.
As you absolutely should be. That is a fantastic accomplishment. Feeling proud is like giving yourself a well-deserved internal reward.
Now, for our fifth and final word in this review. This one is essential for kindness and connection. The word is sorry. Sorry. Repeat after me. Sorry. Sorry.
This word has 2 primary uses. Can you explain the first one, Bob?
Of course. First, you say, I am sorry, as an apology when you have made a mistake or caused someone some inconvenience. For example, if I accidentally bump into you, I would say, oh, I'm so sorry.
The second use is to express sympathy or empathy. If your friend is going through a hard time, you can say, I am sorry you are feeling unwell, or I feel sorry for the people affected by the storm. It shows you recognize their difficulty and you care.
So, sorry can be used both for taking responsibility for your own actions and for acknowledging another person's hardship. It's a fundamental word for compassionate communication.
Let's quickly repeat all 5 words one more time. Everyone, please repeat with us. Excited.
Very happy about a future event.
Nervous. Anxious or worried about something. Upcoming.
Relaxed. Calm and at peace.
Proud. Feeling good about an achievement.
Sorry. For an apology or to show sympathy.
Excellent. We encourage you to try using these words in the coming week. Write a sentence in your journal or say them out loud to yourself. Consistent practice is the pathway to fluency and confidence.
Thank you for reviewing with us. Well, Bob, that was a truly meaningful and extensive conversation. I feel we have given our viewers a strong foundation for discussing their emotions.
We really have. From the fundamental feelings like happy and sad, to the more complex ones like excited and nervous, I believe we've covered incredibly useful ground. It is now time to bring our lesson to a close.
It is. So let's provide a brief summary. Today, we practiced how to articulate our feelings in English. We learned that all emotions are natural and valid. That is the most vital takeaway.
All feelings are a normal part of life. The goal is not to avoid them, but to understand and express them healthily. We used a wide array of words today. Let's remember them together.
We started with the essential building blocks: happy, sad, tired, hungry, and thirsty.
Then we progressed to more powerful emotions like excited and nervous, and we acknowledged that they can be mixed.
We talked about angry and constructive ways to manage it, like deep breathing. We discussed surprised, which can be positive or negative, and scared, our body's alert system.
We contrasted those with the calm of relaxed and the pressure of stressed.
We didn't forget boredom or the wonderful feeling of being proud. We explored feelings for others, like feeling sorry for someone or happy for them.
And we touched on impatient, confused, disappointed, and lonely. It's quite a comprehensive list.
But remember, you don't need to master them all immediately. Start by incorporating 1 or 2 new words into your daily conversations. The grammar is straightforward. You can almost always use I am or I feel with these words. I am happy. I feel tired. I am excited. I feel nervous. It's that simple.
Now, it is time for my favorite segment of our video.
Mine too. It's time for our question of the day. Are you ready?
I am. Today's question is designed to help you immediately apply what you've learned. The question is, what is one thing that made you feel happy this week? Let's think of some examples to inspire everyone. Cindy, what made you happy this week?
Let me think. This week, the weather was beautiful, so I took my lunch outside and ate it in the park. That simple act of being in nature made me feel genuinely happy and peaceful.
Eating my lunch in the park made me happy. That's a wonderful, simple example. What about you, Bob? For me, this week, I had a long video call with an old friend who lived in another country. We laughed and shared stories for over an hour. It made me feel incredibly happy and connected.
Talking to my old friend made me happy. A perfect example. So, dear viewers, now it is your turn. Reflect on your week. What is one thing, big or small, that sparked happiness in you? It could be drinking a perfect cup of coffee, watching a funny show, finishing a task, or hearing from a family member. Please try to write your answer in the comments below. Write a short sentence. We promise to read as many as we can. We love hearing from you.
This is the best kind of practice. Don't be nervous, just try. Write one sentence. We are all here learning and growing together. If you want to practice another feeling, you can write that too. For example, I felt a little tired this week because, but we truly hope you primarily feel happy.
Before we say goodbye, we want to express our deepest gratitude for sharing your valuable time with us today. Learning a language is a magnificent journey, and we are so honored to be walking this path with you.
Yes, Thank you. Please remember to be kind and patient with yourself. Some days your English will feel strong and fluent, and other days it might feel challenging. That is completely normal and expected. The most important thing is to persist, practicing a little bit each day. Perhaps rewatch one of our videos or listen to an English song you love.
We will return soon with another practical English conversation. Next time, we will explore a brand new topic.
Ooh, a secret. Perhaps we'll talk about hobbies or maybe about food and cooking. You will have to come back to discover what it is. So, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you never miss a new video. From all of us here at Daily English Talk, keep learning, keep practicing, and have a truly wonderful day.
Did you know that nearly half of everything you do every single day isn't the result of conscious decision, but is actually just a habit? Let that sink in for a moment. You are, to a massive degree, a collection of your automatic routines.
And that, right there, is why today's conversation is so incredibly powerful. If we can understand our habits, we can truly understand ourselves. And more importantly, we can redesign our lives. Welcome, everyone, to another profound episode of Daily English Talk. I'm Carl.
And I'm Jessie. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here with us. On this channel, we dedicate ourselves to helping you practice genuine, real-world English in a way that sticks, much like a habit itself.
That's our core mission. If you find value in our conversations and want to continue this journey with us, please remember to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. That simple action on your part provides us with immense support and helps our community grow.
We are deeply thankful for your participation. Now, let's dive straight into today's captivating topic, the language and nature of our habits. We're going to explore how to articulate everything we do on a daily and weekly basis, our deeply ingrained routines that shape our existence.
Absolutely, Jessie. So, Jessie, it's an absolutely spectacular day outside. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, without a doubt. The sun is beaming down brilliantly. I absolutely adore days like this one. It generally lifts my spirits and fills me with a sense of joy.
I share that feeling entirely. It's invigorating. Tell me, did you make your way to the studio directly from your home this morning?
I certainly did. I walked the entire distance, and the journey was wonderfully pleasant. I observed so many individuals out enjoying the park, soaking up this beautiful weather.
That does sound incredibly lovely. I also walked here today. I frequently listen to music during my walks. It sets a perfect tone for the day. What genres of music typically accompany your journeys?
My go-to is almost always pop music. I find it so uplifting and incredibly easy to sing along with. It makes the walk feel like less of a commute and more of a personal concert.
That's an excellent choice. I'm quite fond of pop music as well. However, I must confess that during my morning preparations, I sometimes switch over to listening to the news instead.
The news? That sounds remarkably serious for the early hours of the morning, Carl.
I am aware it might seem that way, but I have a strong desire to stay informed about current events happening around the globe. It makes me feel connected.
Well, that is undoubtedly a commendable habit. Perhaps I should consider adopting that practice myself.
It's certainly a possibility. So, what are your intentions for after we conclude our recording session today?
Once we're finished here, I am considering heading to a local cafe. I have a powerful craving for a beautifully crafted cup of coffee and perhaps a delightful slice of cake to go with it.
Oh, that sounds absolutely ideal. Would you mind terribly if I joined you?
Of course not, my friend. You are always more than welcome. The more, the merrier.
Excellent. Now I have something truly wonderful to look forward to after we finish the show.
And on that happy note, we have a truly fantastic topic to present to our wonderful viewers today.
We certainly do. We are going to engage in a deep and meaningful discussion about habits. Habits, much like my apparent habit of spontaneously inviting myself along for cake.
Precisely like that. But also, we'll explore many other, more common habits that fill our lives. So, Carl, let's begin this conversation about habits. What, in your own words, is the definition of a habit?
In my perspective, a habit is a specific action or behavior that you find yourself repeating over and over again, often without dedicating much conscious thought to it. It operates almost on autopilot.
Autopilot, like a machine or a robot?
Not exactly like a robot, but the process can feel almost that automatic. For instance, I always, without fail, brush my teeth immediately after I have eaten my breakfast. I don't stand there debating with myself, should I brush my teeth now? I simply proceed to do it. It's an ingrained part of my morning.
I understand completely. It's a fundamental component of your daily routine. One of my own personal habits is that I always drink a full glass of water the very moment I wake up in the morning.
That is a tremendously healthy habit, Jesse. I really should attempt to incorporate that into my own life.
You absolutely should. It is exceptionally beneficial for your overall well-being. Okay, let's begin by discussing our morning habits. What is the very first action you take upon waking up in the morning?
The absolute first thing I do is I open my eyes.
Very amusing, Carl. And what do you do immediately after that?
Okay. Immediately after I open my eyes, I have a habit of always checking my cellular phone.
Oh, I find myself doing that exact same thing. I check the current time and quickly scan to see if I have received any new messages overnight.
It seems we share that habit. However, my doctor has informed me that this is actually a rather poor habit. The intense light emitted from the phone screen is not good for your eyes first thing in the morning, before they've properly adjusted.
He is most likely correct about that. What would you consider to be a good morning habit that you consistently maintain?
A positive one? Well, I always, without exception, make my bed every single morning. It is non-negotiable for me.
Truly. I occasionally make my bed, but it is not a consistent practice. Sometimes I am simply in too much of a rush.
For me, it is fundamentally important. A neatly made bed instantly makes the entire bedroom appear much tidier and more organized.
That is indeed a fantastic habit. Let's talk about breakfast. Do you have any specific habits related to your first meal of the day?
My breakfast habit is remarkably simple and consistent. I typically eat toast with a bit of butter, and I always, without deviation, drink tea in the morning. Never coffee. It is the same pattern almost every single day.
Every single day the same thing?
Almost without fail. I find great comfort in that consistency. What do you normally eat for your breakfast?
My breakfast choices tend to vary from day to day. On some mornings, I will eat yogurt mixed with fresh fruit. On other days, I might have a bowl of cereal. But the one constant, the habit I never break, is that I always, without exception, drink coffee. I am physically and mentally incapable of starting my day without it.
How many cups of coffee would you say you consume on an average day?
Oh, that is a dangerously loaded question, Carl. I typically drink 2 or 3 cups throughout the day.
Typically? Or would you say always?
Okay, fine. Always. It is a bad habit. I am fully aware of it.
It is your habit, not mine, so I will not judge. Now, tell me about your commute. What is your habitual method for traveling to work?
I generally walk to work. My office is located a comfortable and short distance from my home.
That is a wonderful habit to have. Walking is tremendously healthy for the body, and it is also completely free, which is an excellent bonus.
Yes, it truly is. What about you? What is your standard method for getting to your workplace?
I usually take the public bus, but I have a specific exception for Fridays. On Fridays, I often choose to drive my own car.
Why specifically on Fridays? What is the reason behind that variation?
Because after I finish work on Friday, I frequently go to the supermarket to do my major shopping for the week. It is far easier to transport all the groceries when I have my own car available.
Ah, that logic makes perfect sense. So that is a weekly habit for you then.
Exactly. It is a routine tied to the specific day. Now, let's transition into discussing our work habits. What is something you consistently always do at your job?
When I am at work, I always, without fail, create a detailed list of tasks I need to accomplish. I physically write down all of my objectives for that particular day.
That is an incredibly organized and efficient habit. I sometimes make a list for myself, but I have a bad habit of often misplacing it shortly after.
That is not a particularly good habit, Carl.
I know, I know. It is yet another one of my less than ideal work habits. Furthermore, I am often, unfortunately, late for meetings.
Carl, why are you consistently late for meetings? What is the cause?
I always seem to believe that I have more time available than I actually do. Then, at the last possible moment, I realize my error and have to literally run to the meeting room, arriving flustered.
You desperately need to cultivate a new, better habit. You should make a concerted effort to arrive at least 5 minutes early for every meeting.
5 minutes early? That sounds almost impossible to me.
Just try it. Make it an experiment. Now, let's move our conversation toward our evening habits. What do you typically do after you finish your work for the day?
After work, I usually feel quite tired, so I always allow myself to just sit on my sofa for a full 10 minutes and consciously do nothing at all. I simply decompress.
That sounds incredibly nice and restorative. I should really try to implement that practice into my own life.
After my designated 10 minutes of rest, I often go to the gym for a workout.
You go to the gym after a full day of work? That is genuinely impressive. I never, and I mean never, go to the gym.
Never? What do you do for physical exercise then?
My primary form of exercise consists of walking to the kitchen and walking to the bus stop. That's the extent of it.
Carl, that does not qualify as real, dedicated exercise.
I know. I am fully aware. It is a very bad habit of mine. I recognize that I need to change this aspect of my life. What kind of activities do you typically do when you go to the gym?
I usually spend time running on the treadmill. Sometimes I'll also lift some small weights to build a bit of strength. After my gym session, I head directly home and proceed to cook my dinner.
You cook your own dinner every single day? I do not cook very often. My habit is to usually order food from a restaurant for delivery.
Do you do that every single day?
No, not every single day. Perhaps 3 times a week on average. Would you consider that to be a bad habit?
Well, it's certainly an expensive habit to maintain, and it can sometimes be less healthy than preparing your own meals. Cooking food at home is generally a better option for both your wallet and your health.
You are absolutely right, of course. However, cooking a full meal for just one person can feel somewhat boring and tedious at times.
I can understand that perspective completely. My own strategy is that I sometimes cook a very large quantity of food, and then I eat the same prepared meal for 2 consecutive days.
Now that is a very smart and practical habit. Okay, let's continue.
After I eat dinner, I always immediately wash all of the dishes. I have a strong aversion to leaving dirty dishes sitting in the kitchen sink.
I, on the other hand, have a completely different habit regarding this. I often leave the dirty dishes sitting in the sink overnight. I wash them all the following morning.
Jesse, that is a terrible habit.
I know it is, but it is the habit I have developed for myself. So after the dishes are handled, what do you normally do?
I usually engage in some form of relaxation. I often watch an episode of a TV series or sometimes a full movie. What kinds of movies do you prefer to watch?
I usually choose to watch comedies. I genuinely love to laugh and feel happy. What do you typically watch for entertainment?
I often watch various sports games, football, basketball, but sometimes I prefer to watch documentaries, particularly ones about animals and the natural world.
That does sound quite interesting. Do you have any specific set habits that you practice just before you go to sleep at night?
Yes, I adhere to a very consistent pre-sleep routine. I always brush my teeth, that is a given. Then I read a physical book for approximately 15 minutes before I turn out the light.
That is an exceptionally good habit to have. Reading a book is known to help calm the mind and prepare the body for restful sleep. I also make it a point to read something before I go to sleep. What do you typically like to read?
I usually read fiction novels, often light and funny stories. However, I must confess to another bad habit. I sometimes find myself checking my phone when I'm already in bed.
That is a bad habit, for sure. The light from the phone screen is scientifically proven to be disruptive to your natural sleep cycles. It seems we both share this particular bad habit. We should make an effort to change this. Let's make a promise to each other right now. No phones in bed.
Okay, I promise I will try it for one night.
Only for one night. Well, it's a start. Now, let's broaden our discussion and talk about our weekend habits. Are your habits on the weekend significantly different from your weekday routines?
Oh, yes, absolutely. My weekend habits are drastically different. On Saturday morning, I always allow myself to sleep late.
What time do you typically wake up on Saturday?
Sometimes I will sleep until 10 a.m., and on other Saturdays, I might not wake up until 11 a.m. It feels absolutely wonderful.
That does sound wonderful. My own habit is that I wake up at 8 a.m. consistently, even on the weekends. It's just how my internal clock operates.
8 a.m. on a Saturday? That is far too early for my liking.
It feels perfectly normal to me. After I wake up, I enjoy having a slow, leisurely morning. I drink my coffee and I read the news at a relaxed pace.
That does sound very peaceful and calm. On my Saturdays, I usually make plans to meet with my friends for a leisurely lunch.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Where do you and your friends typically go for these lunches?
We often choose to go to a small, cozy restaurant that is located near the city park. The food there is consistently very good.
Do you participate in any sports or physical activities on the weekends?
Sometimes I play a game of football with a group of my friends, but it's not an activity I do every single weekend. It's more occasional.
Well, that is still good exercise. You see, you do engage in some sports activities after all.
I suppose that's true, but it's only on a sporadic basis. What do you normally do on Sundays?
Sunday is my designated and non-negotiable cleaning day. I always thoroughly clean my entire apartment from top to bottom every single Sunday.
Every single Sunday? You are an incredibly organized person. I must admire that discipline.
I simply prefer living in a clean and orderly home. I vacuum all of the floors, I scrub the bathroom, and I wash all of my clothes. What is your cleaning habit?
I clean my apartment only when it becomes visibly dirty to me. That might happen approximately once every 2 weeks, sometimes even less frequently. I suppose that is a habit in its own way, albeit a less strict one.
I suppose we can call it a habit of a sort. Now, let's delve into the topic of our bad habits. We all have them after all.
This is my favorite subject to discuss. I have a great number of bad habits I can share. For example, well, I often have a habit of biting my fingernails.
When do you typically find yourself doing that?
Usually when I am watching a particularly suspenseful or scary movie, or sometimes when I am deeply concentrating and thinking about a difficult problem.
I can understand that impulse. I sometimes catch myself doing that as well. But you seem to have so many good habits, Carl. It is surprising.
Nobody is truly perfect, Jesse. I have another bad habit to confess. I often and quite easily lose my sunglasses.
How many pairs of sunglasses would you estimate you have lost?
Perhaps 5 or 6 different pairs just this year alone.
That is a significant number. That qualifies as a very expensive bad habit.
I am painfully aware of that. What would you say is your most financially costly bad habit?
My most expensive bad habit is undoubtedly buying a coffee from a specialty coffee shop every single day. I own a perfectly functional coffee machine at home, but I have a strong preference for the coffee prepared
at the professional coffee shops.
Oh, that is indeed a very expensive habit to maintain. You really should make a concerted effort to prepare your coffee at home instead.
You are completely right. But the coffee from the coffee shop is just so delicious and satisfying. I find that habits, both good and bad, can be incredibly difficult to change once they are established.
How can we go about creating new positive habits for ourselves? What is the best method?
I have read extensively that the most effective strategy is to start with a goal that is incredibly small and manageable. For example, if you have a desire to become a runner, you should start by simply walking for just 5 minutes each day.
That is genuinely good advice. And I have also heard that we need to be remarkably consistent. We need to perform the new action every single day for it to become ingrained.
Every single day. I know that sounds difficult at first.
It does sound challenging, I won't lie.
It does not have to be difficult. For instance, if you want to develop the habit of drinking more water, you can start by just placing a full glass of water on your bedside table every single night before you sleep.
Okay, that is a small action I feel confident I can actually do. It seems so simple.
Exactly. It is a very small, manageable thing. And if you want to cultivate a habit of reading more books, you can commit to reading just one single page every night before you go to sleep.
Just one page? Yes, I believe I can manage that. Perhaps I might even feel motivated to read 2 pages on some nights.
See, you're already feeling motivated. What new positive habit would you personally like to start incorporating into your life?
I want to begin the habit of eating a piece of fresh fruit every single day. My current habit is to usually eat cookies for a snack, but I know that fruit is a much healthier choice.
That is an absolutely excellent idea. You could simply buy one banana to have with your morning coffee, for instance.
Yes, one single banana, that does sound easy enough to accomplish. What new habit would you like to start for yourself, Jessie?
I want to develop the habit of calling the members of my family on the phone more frequently. My current habit is to usually just send text messages, but I believe an actual phone call is far more personal and meaningful.
That is a truly beautiful and thoughtful habit to want to build. I am certain your family members will be incredibly happy to hear your voice more often.
I think so too. What about very old habits? Do you have any habits that have persisted since you were a young child?
Oh, yes, indeed. I always, without thinking, put my left shoe on first before my right shoe. I have no logical explanation for why I do this. I did it when I was a small boy, and I continue to do it now as an adult.
That is a very old and deeply ingrained habit. I have a somewhat similar peculiar habit. I always read the very last page of a book before I even begin reading the first chapter.
Really? Why do you do that?
I do not really know the reason. I just have a strong desire to know how the story ends before I commit to starting it.
That is a uniquely funny habit. My own sister has a habit of singing along to the radio at the top of her lungs every time she drives her car, without fail.
I actually do that as well. It is a tremendously fun and joyful habit to have. So, you see, some of our habits are simply fun and bring us joy. Some are healthy and beneficial, and some can be, unfortunately, expensive or detrimental. The important thing is that we have the power to change our habits if we truly desire to do so. We simply need to start with a very small, manageable step.
I am feeling genuinely motivated now after our conversation. Tomorrow, I will make a point to eat one banana, and I will drink one full glass of water, and I will make a concerted effort not to look at my phone while I am in my bed. It is a deal.
Perfect. Let's check in with each other next week to report on our progress with these new habits.
That sounds like an excellent plan. So, to all of our viewers, you can see from our discussion that every single person has their own unique set of habits. Talking about them and describing them in English can be quite easy and natural.
That was a wonderfully productive and insightful talk about our habits, Carl. We managed to use a great many useful words and phrases during our conversation.
We certainly did. I believe it would be extremely beneficial to review some of these key vocabulary words again to help all of our friends watching to remember and internalize them.
That is an excellent idea. Let's proceed with a mini vocabulary review session. Which words should we begin with?
Well, we have said the core word habit a great many times throughout this discussion, but what does the word truly and precisely mean?
A habit is a specific behavior or action that you perform regularly and, for the most part, automatically. You do not dedicate a significant amount of conscious thought to it each time you do it. For example, Carl, what is a personal habit of yours that demonstrates this?
My habit is drinking a cup of tea every single morning. I do not actively decide to do it anew each day. I simply perform the action automatically. It is a deeply ingrained habit.
That is a perfect example. It is very much like a routine action that is performed on autopilot. Brushing your teeth is a classic habit. Tying your shoelaces is another common habit. Can a habit be both positive and negative?
Oh, most definitely yes. A good habit is one that is healthy or useful for you in some way, such as engaging in regular exercise or reading books for personal enrichment. A bad habit, conversely, is one that is not healthy or not particularly useful, like the habit of biting your fingernails or frequently losing your keys.
Please, let's not talk about my habit of losing keys again.
Okay. So, as we can see, a habit can indeed have either a positive or a negative connotation and impact on our lives.
Exactly. Now, another extremely important word that we frequently use when discussing our habits is the adverb always. Let's examine that.
Always. This powerful word signifies that something occurs 100% of the time. It is an action that happens every single instance without any exceptions. For example, I always breathe air to live. That is a fundamental truth.
That is true, but let's use a more practical example for our current topic. I always lock the door to my home whenever I leave it. That is a habitual action for my safety.
Yes. Or another example, the sun always rises in the east. It is a constant that never changes. And the direct opposite of always is the adverb never. Let's look at that.
Never. This word means precisely 0%. It indicates that something does not happen at all, under any circumstances. For example, I never drink coffee with my breakfast. I only ever drink tea.
And I never, under any circumstances, forget to drink my essential morning coffee. For me, it is an absolute impossibility.
So we can see that always and never are both very strong, definitive words. However, in natural conversation, we often prefer to use softer, more flexible words such as usually.
Ah, usually. This is an incredibly useful and common word. It signifies that something occurs most of the time, but not necessarily on every single occasion. Perhaps it happens around 80 or 90% of the time. So if I were to say, I usually take the bus to work, what is the precise meaning of that statement?
It means that you take the bus on the vast majority of your workdays, but there might be occasional exceptions. For instance, if the weather is exceptionally nice, you might choose to walk instead. Or if you have an errand to run, you might drive your car on that particular day.
Your explanation is perfectly correct. So it is not an absolute always, but it is a very common and predictable occurrence. What about the word often? How is it used?
often signifies that something happens many times. It is a frequent occurrence, but it may not happen with the same high regularity as something described by usually. For example, I often go to the cinema to watch movies. This means I go on many different occasions, but it is not a fixed activity for every single weekend.
I understand completely. So I could say, I often meet with my close friends on the weekends. It is a common social activity for me, but it does not necessarily happen on each and every weekend.
Yes, that is the correct usage. And then we have the word sometimes. This word indicates a frequency that is less than often. It means that an action happens on certain occasions, but it is not a regular or predictable event. Perhaps it happens about 50% of the time. For example, I sometimes eat a piece of chocolate for my dessert. I do not do it always, but I do it on occasions when I'm craving something sweet.
And finally, for our review, let's discuss the noun routine. This is another very important word in this context.
Routine. This is an excellent word to know. A routine is essentially a plan or a sequence composed of several of your habits performed in a particular order. Can you provide us with a clear example of a personal routine, Carl?
Of course. My morning routine is as follows. First, I wake up. Then, I always brush my teeth without fail. After that, I usually make my bed to tidy the room. Then, I often drink a hot cup of tea. Finally, I sometimes read the news on my phone if I have a few extra minutes.
That is a wonderful, clear example. So a routine is the specific order in which you perform your various habits. My own evening routine is I always cook my own dinner. I usually watch some television afterwards to unwind, and I often read a few pages of a book before I always go to sleep.
So to summarize this point, a habit refers to one single repeated action. A routine is a collection of several habits organized together in a specific sequence.
That is a perfect and concise explanation. Let's practice with one final pair of words. We discussed the concepts of healthy and unhealthy habits.
Healthy describes something that is good for your physical body and your mental state. For instance, regular exercise is a healthy activity. Eating plenty of vegetables is a healthy dietary choice.
And conversely, unhealthy describes something that is not good for your body or your mind. For example, smoking cigarettes is an unhealthy habit. Eating an excessive amount of sugar is also considered unhealthy.
So to all of our viewers, can you try to construct a sentence using these valuable words? For example, you could say, my healthy habit is that I always go for a walk in the evening. Or, my unhealthy habit is that I sometimes eat fast food for lunch.
Those are great example sentences. Let's all make an effort to try and create sentences like these in the comment section. So, to provide a quick review, we have discussed the words habit, always, never, usually, often, sometimes, routine, and the adjectives healthy and unhealthy. These are all exceptionally useful words for describing your daily life and activities.
Try to use these words when you write your answers in the comment section below. Yes, knowing and actively using these words is a very, very good habit for anyone who is learning the English language.
It is indeed a tremendously good habit to cultivate. Well, Carl, we have been talking for a very long time now about the fascinating topic of habits.
We truly have been. My mouth is actually feeling a little tired from all this talking. Is talking too much considered a bad habit?
No, I do not believe so. For an English teacher, I would say that talking is actually a very good and necessary habit. But let's take a moment to reflect on everything we have discussed today.
Okay, let's provide a summary, a very quick review for all of our friends who are watching this video.
That is always helpful.
Perfect. First and foremost, we learned that a habit is defined as something you do on a regular basis, almost without engaging your conscious mind. It can be a positive, good habit, or it can be a negative, bad habit.
Yes, we talked extensively about various morning habits such as brushing your teeth, making your bed, and drinking either coffee or tea in the morning.
And we also discussed common work habits, such as the practice of making a detailed to-do list, or conversely, the bad habit of being consistently late for important meetings.
Hey, you do not need to remind everyone about my specific bad habits again.
I am sorry, Carl, but it serves as a very good and relatable example for everyone. We also explored our evening habits, such as cooking dinner at home, watching television for relaxation, and reading a book before going to bed.
And we certainly must not forget to mention our weekly habits, such as going to the supermarket for groceries on a specific day or designating Sunday as the primary day for cleaning the entire house.
Exactly. And we learned how to properly use some extremely important words to accurately describe these habits and their frequency.
That is perfectly correct. We practice using words like always to mean 100% of the time and never to mean 0% of the time.
And we used usually to describe something that happens most of the time, often for things that happen many times, and sometimes for things that happen only on certain occasional times.
We also talked about the word routine, which is essentially the story of your habits, the sequence they follow from the moment you wake up in the morning until you go to sleep at night.
And we made a clear distinction between healthy habits, such as engaging in regular exercise, and unhealthy or expensive habits, such as drinking an excessive amount of coffee from shops or ordering takeaway food every single day.
Speaking of which, I am currently thinking about my own expensive coffee shop habit. I will make a sincere attempt to prepare my coffee at home for the entirety of this upcoming week.
That is a fantastic and achievable goal to set for yourself. And I will try my very best not to look at my phone while I am lying in my bed. We can both make an effort to change one small habit at a time.
And that is an incredibly important lesson for everyone watching. You possess the power to change your habits. You can begin with just one small, easy-to-accomplish thing. I must emphasize, do not attempt to change everything about your life all at once on a Monday morning. That approach is far too difficult and is likely to lead to failure.
Just start with one single small thing. For example, commit to eating one piece of fruit every day, or commit to drinking one full glass of water first thing in the morning, or commit to reading just one page of a book each night. Small, consistent steps are genuinely the most effective way to build a new, positive habit that will last.
So now the spotlight turns to you. It is your turn to speak and practice. We are very eager to hear from all of you.
Yes, we have our special question of the day for you. This is the most important part of the video for your personal practice. Today's question is this: what is one good habit that you currently have, and what is one bad habit that you would like to change?
Please take a moment to write your answer in the comment section below this video. It is incredibly good practice for your English skills. For example, you could write something like,
My good habit is that I always study English for 10 minutes every single day. My bad habit is that I sometimes watch too much television.
or you could write, my good habit is that I usually eat vegetables with my lunch. My bad habit is that I never go to bed at an early hour.
Any answer you provide is a good and valuable answer. We are all here to learn and improve together, not to be perfect.
We will make a point to read every single comment that you post. We genuinely love to read your answers and to observe your progress over time. It brings us great joy to be a part of your individual English learning journey.
So please take just a moment of your time and write a sentence for us. Tell us all about your personal habits. And while you're there in the comment section, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a like by clicking the thumbs up button. That simple action helps other English learners just like you to find our channel.
And of course, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, Daily English Talk, please click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss any of our future videos. We create and upload new videos every single week to help you practice and improve your English skills.
Thank you so very much for spending your valuable time with us today. You are all wonderful and motivated students. Keep practicing consistently, keep learning new things every day, and please remember to always be kind and patient with yourself whenever you are learning something new, like a language.
Yes, that is beautifully said, Jessie. Learning English is much more like a marathon than a short sprint. It's all about gradually building a strong and consistent habit of regular practice.
That was a really beautiful way to phrase it, Carl. We are very much looking forward to seeing you all next time for another engaging session of Daily English Talk. Until then, take care and keep practicing.